Previn and the Pittsburgh with André Previn. Tonight on Previn and the Pittsburgh, Ella Fitzgerald joins André Previn for a program of song and reminiscence with the First Lady of Jazz.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. You know, when musicians have some of their well-deserved idle moments in their busy careers, one of their favorite games is to sit around and say, all right, who's your favorite pianist? Who's your favorite cellist? Who's your favorite trumpet player? Whatever. And this always passes a lot of time, provokes a lot of opinions, a lively discussion, and sometimes a bloody argument. But there's one category where this game isn't possible. Because if you ask any jazz musician in the world, who's your favorite singer, the only way that discussion can be prolonged for even another 10 seconds is if the answer is, you mean other than Ella? And then it's possible. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, our guest tonight, the world's greatest jazz singer, Miss Ella Fitzgerald. that for an opener. What do you do for a closer?
Nothing.
I mean, want a glass of water?
Just a little bit.
Well.
They say Pittsburgh makes you feel dry. I thank you, dear.
Okay. You know, that, when did you make that first famous record of that? The one?
When I was on a tour with Dizzy Gillespie, and, you know, all the fellas were jamming, and I wanted to be in with the crowd, with the musicians, and we used to go around jamming, and we played the old it was the Martin Block show.
Oh, that all-night show in New York, yeah.
And we used to go jam there, and Dizzy got me to stand up with him, and he says, come on in, let's riff, or bop, whatever they want to call it, and we did Lady Be Good, and Decca heard it, and they recorded it, and Dave Garraway, bless him, from Chicago, he was the first one played the record, and it became such a hit in Chicago that we went to Chicago and played 2 weeks at the State and Lake Theater.
But I've heard you do it as a ballad, which is sensational because it reminds everybody what a really beautiful tune it is. And I've always thought it was the mark of the few really great jazz players and singers, that the tune becomes the instrument and not the gospel. You know, I mean, you can do anything to the tune. I know you just sat down, but could you do Lady Be Good nice and slow once, just to show, you know, it just looked fascinating, yeah.
Thank you. Andre, I'd like to say, you know, that this was Norman Grant's idea to try it slow. And I think a lot of people never realize what a beautiful song it is. You understand the lyrics this way. Listen to my tale of woe, it's terribly sad but true. All dressed up, no place to go, each evening I'm awfully blue. I must find some handsome guy, can't go on like this. I could blossom out, I know, with somebody just like you. So, oh, sweet and lovely lady, be good. Oh, lady, be good to me. I am so awfully misunderstood. So, lady, be good to me. Won't someone please have some pity? For I'm all alone in this big city. I'll I tell you I'm just a lonesome babe in the woods. So, lady, be good to me. Oh, lady, be good to me.
I'd be very hard pressed to say which one I like better, because it's like two completely different tunes. When you said before that you worked with Dizzy's big band and then Basie and then Ellington, was that the chronology? I mean, you went to Basie after Dizzy or the Duke first?
Oh, Dizzy first,
Yeah.
and then we played with Duke, and then we went with Count Basie. I think they both loved music so much that, you know, it was just like to me, it was like a show every night when I worked with Duke, because you never knew what he was going to play, and it was just beautiful. You just sit there. I'd come to work early, and the same way with Basie. There's nobody swings a band like Basie. I'm sorry, I'm just prejudiced. And oh my gosh, you know, you come in early because all you want to do, you don't want to miss a lick, because he's got those tempos. That man can get tempos for you that.
Well, I used to love it when I used to go and hear the band a lot, and he would sit and he'd play a few choruses, and I would notice from night to night that it was never the same amount of choruses. So he'd wait until the tempo was absolutely where he wanted it, and then he would do that thing, and the band would come busting in. It was so wonderful. But surely you must have had to do quite different tunes with Basie and Ellington. I mean, discounting the fact that Duke's a great composer. I mean, to go from Dizzy and this kind of thing, and then Basie, did you used to do lyrics to some of his things too? I mean, to some of the famous Basie things?
With Basie things?
Yeah.
Yeah, we made a number of Shiny Stockings. We made an album with Basie.
Of his famous. Those things usually started
like
as
April in
instrumentals.
Paris. You know, I sang along with the band, and I sang one with Joe Williams. And of course, I did an album with Duke Ellington, and that was an experience, because you know Duke always. You never knew what was coming out. And he would tell me, when we recorded, he says, I'll tell you where to come in. And
During the record day?
During the record day. It was more like, you know, they were playing their charts, but he was going to tell me when to come in and bop or whatever it is. And I never knew where. And he would just point his hand, and I was coming in with the trumpets and everything.
But with him, did you do mainly his tunes?
We did mainly his tunes.
Yeah, since we're talking about Duke, could you do something of Duke's that you like? You tell me.
I'll try.
I'm sure you will.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. If you should ask me the amount in my bank account, I'd have to admit that I'm slipping. But that don't worry me, confidentially, I've got a dream that's a pippin'. And when the day is through, each night I hurry to a home where love waits. I know. I guess I'm just a lucky soul, and so. baby, you're lucky. You're a lucky so and so. I'm lucky, 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 lucky. Oh, oh, yeah. I'm lucky, I'm lucky. Lucky so and so. We could go on and on and on, just telling how lucky we are. Yeah, baby, what you say? You're lucky. Hey, baby, you're lucky. How lucky can you be? So lucky. I hope they understood Lucky So-and-so.
I know that there's a private nickname for you, Lady Time. Boy, that's good. That's right.
Your tempo?
That's absolutely right.
That's what they call the finger-snapping tempo. I saw everybody.
Oh, yeah.
You couldn't get it, you couldn't miss it.
No, there's still some people who do it on 1 and 3, but very few.
Yeah.
When you first started, I mean, as some kind of professional life, you had visions of not being a singer, you were going to be a dancer. Is that right?
Right.
Tell me about that.
Oh, you really want to hear that?
Oh,
well,
yeah.
it started back in my hometown in Yonkers, and I was what they call the greatest little dancer in Yonkers. And we used to go down to the Apollo on amateur night, my girlfriends and I.
What kind of dancing? I mean,
I used to try to do this with a man called Snake Hips. And I used to try to dance, and everybody said I was real skinny, of course, don't you forget now. But I was like a string bean. I was so thin I had to drink milk in school, to try to get me up. And I could do this dance, so everybody said, oh boy, you're great, you ought to go down and try to go in a contest.
Snake Hips Fitzgerald.
Snake Hips Fitzgerald, that was me. Right. And I went down, we went to the Apollo, and like they always tell you, if you want to be an amateur, to sign and drop your name in the box. And being from Yonkers, we never thought anybody would send a postcard to Yonkers. And the three of us, we put our names in. And I was the one who was chosen. And I made up my, they say, well, if you don't go, you're chicken.
Right.
So we went, and believe it or not, I was the first amateur that they called. And there were two sisters who were the dancingest sisters in the world, called the Edwards Sisters. And they were starring at the Apollo. And they closed the show at the Apollo.
The Edwards Sisters.
The Edwards Sisters.
Yeah.
And when I saw those ladies dance, I said, no way I'm going out there and try to dance, because they stopped the show. Mm-hmm. And when they closed, that was the end of the show, and then the amateur hour came. I was the first one was called. And when I got out there, somebody hollered out in the audience, what is she going to do?
Yeah.
And the man said, you're out here. He says, well, do something. And my mother had a record of Miss Connie Boswell, who I think was one of the greatest singers that ever lived. And she used to play Object of My Affection and Judy. And I got so I had, used to sing it. So the man said, sing something. Or I tried to sing Judy.
Now, wait a minute. But you actually thought when you went in the theater that you were going to get up and dance.
I was going to dance. But when you get on that stage, it's a different feeling.
Yeah, but now wait a minute. That means that if the Edwards Sisters hadn't been on the bill that day, you'd have been a dancer now?
I'd have been a dancer. I may not even been a dancer.
That's funny. I wonder if they know what a big favor they did everybody.
Oh, I always thank them. And I thank Miss Connie Boswell, because then I tried to sing like her, and I sang, if a voice can bring every hope of the spring, that's Judy. And everybody says, oh, that girl can sing.
Oh, that's funny. Well, Okay, so there you were, a dancing Connie Boswell imitator, you know, and so what happened? I mean, was there a contest or what?
Well, this was a contest.
Yeah.
Instead of dancing, I sang Judy, and the people applauded so much, I sang Object of My Affection. That was the other side of the record.
Was that your whole repertoire?
That was my repertoire.
That you knew those two tunes? Uh-huh.
And I won first prize.
Yeah.
So then that made me feel like, you know, well, I want to try to be a singer.
What did that consist of, first prize?
$25. And I felt that, well, let's try it again. And we just went around from theater to theater winning amateur contests. And then finally, the man at the Apollo said he got tired of seeing me. And I was there once, and it was with, back there again, and it was with Claude Hopkins.
Yeah.
And they wanted me to sing something else, and I had learned Believe It, Beloved. And
was that another Connie Boswell hit?
No.
Good.
This was just something coming from me, and I sang. But I was trying to sing on her style, because I didn't have any style. And I sang Believe It, Beloved, and they applauded, and they wanted me to do something else. And Claude Hopkins wouldn't play anything else, so I had to sing the same song over. But I got the week.
You got a week out of it.
I got a week at another theater, at the Harlem Opera House. And when I went there, they put me at the end of the show. And when the people were getting up from the regular show, they said, "Oh, ladies and gentlemen, we have an old girl who won an amateur contest, and we put her on the show." And I sang those three numbers. Judy, Object of My Affection, and Believe It, Beloved. Right.
Okay.
And Tiny Bradshaw's orchestra was there, and I guess it was fate, because I think if I'd lost the contest, I probably wouldn't have kept it up.
Or if the Edwards sisters hadn't been there that week.
Right.
When you made all the famous songbooks, you did a tune of Jerome Kern's called "I Won't Dance," which I like very much. And since you refused to dance all those years ago at the Apollo, and since it's a wonderful tune, not only would I ask you to sing it, but why don't you make up for it? The Edwards sisters aren't here tonight. They were booked.
I hope I remember all the words. You want it now?
Yeah, I want singing and dancing and the whole thing.
I hope I remember all the lyrics. I won't dance, don't ask me. I won't dance, don't ask me. I won't dance, mister, with you. My heart won't let my feet do things they should do. You know what? You're lovely, and so what? You're lovely, but oh, what you do to me. I'm like an ocean wave that's bumped on the shore. I feel so, what? At the shore. When you dance, you're simple and you're gentle, especially when you do the continental. But this feeling isn't mental. Heaven rest us, I'm not asbestos, and that's why I won't dance. Why should I? I won't dance. How could I? I won't dance, mister, with you. I know that music leads the way to romance. So if I ask you, hey, I won't dance. When you dance, you're charming and you're gentle, especially when you do the continental.
Snake hips,
too
huh?
much because my dress.
No,
Oh.
I could see why they
You
called you
could see the
snake hips.
feeling.
Oh yeah, absolutely. When was Norman Granz's Jazz at the Philharmonic? I mean, did you go with that right at the beginning of that era? You know, when Jazz at the Philharmonic first started.
Helen Humes was singing with the band, and I came to see Ray Brown, who later became my husband, and they called me on the stage. Norman called me on the stage, and I jammed, and
those were amazing days. I used to love those concerts, and that was the first time that jazz was ever presented really seriously in concerts for a whole season at a time. You've sung with the most unusual people. Obviously, you sang with Louis Armstrong, but I also heard you sing with Joan Sutherland.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
that was a ball.
I bet. Who picked the key? That's what I want.
I don't know. I think that's when I learned that I could try to sing "High, High the Moon" or something, because it was hitting notes I never thought I could do.
Yeah.
May I?
Please. I tell you, to my mind, one of the greatest artists vocally that I've ever had the privilege of working with is Dame Janet Baker, the great British mezzo-soprano. And I was working with her about six months ago, and we were discussing all the young singers. And I asked her whether she had ever run across anybody with really perfect vocal equipment. And I, frankly, at the time, I meant within that field, you know, opera and leader and all that. And she said, perfect vocal equipment. And she thought about it, and she said, no, actually only Ella Fitzgerald. You made a couple of movies, and I remember there was one movie where you did not sing, but you were absolutely wonderful, just as a straight actress.
Oh, I was a junkie.
I didn't ask you what you were, and I'm just simply paying you a compliment. But then you also made a picture supposedly about jazz, Pete Kelly's Blues.
Right.
And that had pretty
Thank
tunes
you.
in it. Jack Webb's here. I liked Pete Kelly's Blues, first of all. I thought that was a nice song.
It's a beautiful
and
song.
Then you did a tune in it that's always amused me. I think it's one of the most good-natured songs you ever did, and that's Hard Hearted Hannah.
In old Savannah, I said Savannah, the weather there is nice and warm, the climate's of the southern brand. But here's one thing I don't understand. They've got a gal there, a pretty gal there, who's colder than an Arctic storm, got a heart as big as a stone. Even icemen leave her alone. They call her hard-hearted Hannah, the vamp of Savannah, the meanest gal in town. Leather is tough, but Hannah's heart is tougher. She's the gal who loves to see men suffer, to tease them and thrill them, to torture and kill them. It's her delight, they say. I saw her at the seashore with a great big pan. There was Hannah pouring water on a drowning man. She's hard-hearted Hannah, the vamp of Savannah. G.A. They call her hard-hearted Hannah, the vamp of Savannah, the meanest gal in town. Talk of your clothes, refrigerated bomber. She's the polar bear's pajamas, to tease them and thrill them, to torture and kill them. It's her delight, they say. And evening You know we do that with the symphony.
What, that?
That song, you should hear the strings.
I heard Shirley Temple do it with the symphony, but I said, really? That song with the symphony orchestra?
Yes, when we played it with the symphony orchestras, we do Hard-Hearted Hannah.
The idea of doing those songbooks that you did, I know that almost each one of them was a double album. I mean, there were like 24 tunes on each one, and I actually had to write it down because I would have forgotten. You did volumes and records of the songs of Irving Berlin, Cole Porter, Rodgers and Hart, Harold Arlen, Johnny Mercer, Jerome Kern, Ellington, Frank Lesser, Harry Warren, and they all had individual, either single or double albums.
Well, first place, Andre, I give credit to that to Norman Granz. He felt that I was singing so much bop, and people were beginning to feel like, well, does she really sing anything? And he got the idea for the songbooks, and we tried. The first one we tried was Cole Porter, and it went over so well that he continued with the different composers.
I remember the Gershwin one had something like 60 tunes in it.
Oh yeah, there's one song that I had liked, and we could never get the music to it. It was his first song, an old American folk song. It was one of those ragtime songs. You know.
And was it finally through Ira Gershwin that you got the music? Because he was living in Beverly Hills then.
Yeah, well, Norman and they're very good friends, and he picked out the things that he thought the people would like to hear.
Because I mean, I talked to him after that album was made, and he was so floored by it, you know, and the amount of work that went into it. Because those were beautiful also, you know, the whole look of the albums was absolutely wonderful. And I don't think that any singer, male or female, has ever devoted that much time and effort to presenting great American, you know, pop songs.
They were some of the most beautiful ones. They never die, because wherever we go, all over the world, people ask you about the Cole Porter or the Gershwin songs, you know, and it's quite a thrill, especially where times change, that you have something that that you can please not only the people of our time, the people, you know, the young ones. And we play a lot of the universities and colleges. You'd be surprised they like the Rodgers and Harts and the Cole Porter. And so it's a great inspiration to feel that some of the songs from these books will never die.
It's extraordinary, the power of those songs and the fact that they affect everybody in every country. I wanted you to do some things from the songbook, and I think the list of 2,000 songs had to be pared down for television. And I'll tell you what you were generous enough to agree to do. Glad to Be Unhappy, which is Rodgers and Hart. They Can't Take That Away From Me, which is of course the Gershwins, and another Cole Porter song, It's All Right With Me, which I think has some of the wickedest lyrics ever written, and I like them a lot. And this time, you don't have to sit down in between, you can just, all right? Thank you.
Thank you. door. It's a pleasure to be sad, like a little baby lamb, with no mammy and no pappy. I'm so unhappy, but oh, so glad. I'm so unhappy. Thank you. Thank you. I thank you. Thank you so much. The way you wear your hat, the way you sip your tea, the memory of all that. No, no, they can't take that away from me. The way your smile just beams, the way you sing off key, the way you haunt my dreams. No, no, they can't take that away from me. We may never, never meet again on that bumpy road to love. Still, I'll always, always keep the memory of the way that you hold your knife, the way we danced till 3, the way you changed my life. No, no, they can't take that away from me. No, they can't take that away from me. The way you wear your hat, the way you sip your tea, the memory of all that. No, no, they can't take that away from me. The way you smile, just be, where you sing a key, the way you change my life. No, no, they can't take that away from me. We may never, never, never meet again on that bumpy road to love. Still, I'll always, always keep the memory of the way you hold your knife, the way you dance till 3, the way you changed my life. No, no, they can't take that away from me. No, they can't take that away. No, they can't take that away. No, they can't take that away. Away. They can't take that away from me. Thank you. I thank you. Big noise came from it when I got. Big noise went right out again. That's all you get. Ooh, noise. It's the wrong time and the wrong place. Your face is charming, it's the wrong face. It's not his face, but such a charming face that it's all right with me. It's the wrong song with the wrong style. Your smile is lovely, it's the wrong smile. It's not his smile, but such a lovely smile that it's all right with me. You can't know how Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. The albums are still available.
That's wonderful. That's just wonderful.
My throat was getting dry near the end, and I knew I wasn't going to make that note.
You know that orchestras tune by having the oboe play an A, because it's supposed to be the most faultless note of the instrument, you know, to tune to. And I think if you had the time, if you could run around and sing an A, we'd all tune to it. It's perfect. Now, all that flattery is leading up to two requests.
Yes.
Okay? One is that of all the albums, there is one that has a very specific and special place for me. First of all, because it's musically so wonderful, and also because it was a period that I was particularly nostalgic for, and that's, you made an album of very beautiful songs, and called Like Someone in Love, which is a ravishing tune, also by Burke and Van Heusen. And that's a nice, quiet one, and I would love to play that for you if I would, but if I could.
So
but before that, I don't think a show like this should be done without trying something genuinely, truly, utterly unrehearsed. And that is, when you said that you didn't write songs anymore, I was told that in your act, you sometimes just get some kind of rhythm going from a pianist, and you then make up lyrics that are appropriate to the occasion as you go along. Now, is that true, or has somebody been double-crossing you?
Sometimes I do, and sometimes they come out terrible.
Do they also sometimes come out great?
Well, sometimes I don't know if they make sense, you know, but...
But you, I mean, I only knew that Johnny Mercer could do that, this kind of instant rhyming scheme and all that. What do you do it to? Just any kind of vamp, or what?
Well, mostly a vamp. I made up one time for Billy Eckstein, who was in the club, and I love him so much, and I was singing him. I made the whole song up while we were, you know, on. And when we got off, Billy ran back and he said, "Oh, I gotta have that song." And I said, "Well, I couldn't do it again because I don't remember what I sang."
But it's just basically to a kind of rhythm. I mean, when you just go?
I just try to make up songs about what's happening, like...
Would you try that with me? I mean...
I'd be delighted to just...
Will you tell me a tempo?
Here goes. Good luck. What a thrill to be here with you. I can't tell you how I love you, I do. André Previn, you wrote some praises songs, and I sang one, but you told me tonight, forget it, tag along. Now, all these people who came out tonight, you made it such a beautiful, such a wonderful, such a crazy, you're out of sight. I love you madly, I love you madly, love you gladly. What can I say? Today it's been a ball working with you. It's been a ball singing for you too. We hope you enjoyed the way we sung. Some bop, some everything we swung. Few ballads in between. Well, you know what I mean. There's some people who like bop. There's some people who like ballads. There's some people who say, sing the blues. And I tried them. Maybe I messed them up. But I tried them. Maybe you guessed them up. But they were from my heart. Thank you. This is your song. Lately, I find myself out gazing at stars, strumming guitars like someone in love. Funny, the things you do astound me. Only when you're around me. Lately, I seem to walk as though I had wings, bump into things like someone in love. Funny, when you're around, I'm limp as a glove and feeling like someone in love. Lately, I find myself out gazing at stars, strumming guitars like someone in love. Funny, the things you do astound me. Mostly whenever you're around me. I seem to walk as though I had wings, bumping into things like someone in love. Funny, when you're around, I'm limp as a glove and feeling like someone